Do I need to do like what we're about to do?
I think you can do that.
We're about to get in trouble from Coach Dustin. What day is it? Tuesday. Vlog. 6 a.m. F45 workout. Spring Hill, USA. Yeah. That's a wrap. Time to start the day now. This is how you scare your members when they show up for the workout. Now they know. All right, vlog. Still feels weird talking to the vlog. Just wrapped up. 6 a.m. workout, F45 Spring Hill. Fixing to go home, do some email, drink some coffee, not eat any food. I don't eat until lunch every day. It's a secret life hack there. Don't eat breakfast. No, I'm just kidding. Do what works for you. What else? What was I gonna say? If you're not doing F45 first thing in the morning, you're at a disadvantage to life, so I suggest you try it. This episode of the vlog is brought to you by Ben Reynolds for City Council. Just kidding. No political endorsements, but just wanted to shout Ben out because he's a great dude and he wants to do a lot of great things for Dog River. And yeah, so he has the support of the official support of downtown Dog River. Just pulled up 1600 Government Street. We have a condo inspection fixing to go down, just popping in to make sure everything goes smoothly. Here it is. Sick G-Wagon that just passed by. All right, we're at a home inspection. Well, I guess technically this would be called a condo inspection. But just to let y'all know, for anybody who has never been through the home buying process, a home inspection is super important because we get a qualified professional who comes in and tests every single feature of the property that you're buying, from whether the sink works, to the oven, to every electrical outlet, to floor, roof, AC, you name it. And what that does is that gives us a layer of protection whenever we're negotiating a deal, so that we can ask for certain repairs to be done before closing. We're working with Mr. Daniel today. We do a lot of deals with him. He's awesome. I use him for all my personal properties. And yeah, so just decided to stop in and check on this one. We are headed to Century Bank. Shout out Century Bank, because they're literally the only bank in the city that was willing to loan me the funds for this new real estate business plan that I'm working on, which I get. Like, I'm 28, I don't have that many assets. Like, it's a bit of a dice roll. It's not really, because I know how I'm gonna do this project, but in in bankers' eyes, like I understand. But it was tough, man. I went and met with a bunch of different bankers and told them about what my plans are and everything, and a lot of them just their hands were tied. They weren't able to do it, but we finally got the deal done, and it's going to open up the door for me and a business partner of mine to create a ton of affordable housing in the city of Mobile, which is part of this larger initiative of just what we're trying to do as a city. So we're working with a lot of great nonprofits and the city and real estate developers and contractors and all these folks to kind of bring life back to some of these properties that are dilapidated and have been sitting for many years. So I'm super excited. Today's a big day because I've been working on this for probably the past 3 months pretty heavily, and now we get to start. But don't want to celebrate too soon because this is just the beginning of the hard work. This was the easiest part of the entire process. Once we actually break ground on our first property, that's whenever it'll become real, and even that will just be the beginning of the journey. So super excited, and just wanted to shout out Century Bank because they are partnering with us on these deals and making this whole thing possible. Fun fact, this is the first time we've ever had someone pay for a gym membership in cash in 3 years. But I was not about to say no to somebody who wanted to give us money. So getting ready to meal prep, and believe it or not, I actually eat 100 pounds of rice. You see 50 pounds per bag. 100 pounds of rice every week to keep the gains going, you know? Just kidding. Actually, this is what we fill our sand bags with at F45, because sand grains are too small, they penetrate the bags. Rice is much better. We had 2 of them explode, so we're fixing to go do some surgery. Just wanted to take a moment to point out our subliminal messaging. Thank you. The hat, shirt, the sticker, just legit, you know? What's up? Good, how are you?
What's up, guys?
What's up?
Yeah. It'll be this license, this office right here.
Not good. Not good. We don't like letters from the IRS. All right, Ironman race recap. Several people have reached out and asked about my experience, how I liked it, what I learned, what I would do differently next time, if there were a next time, which there will not be. I just sold my bike to make sure that that wasn't the case. It's been about 3 weeks now, and my body is, I would say, fully recovered, feeling great. I can definitely see a difference in my fitness outside of triathlon now from working so much on that endurance. And it's just been good to kind of take a step back. I'm still training every single day, but not 3 workouts a day, and not, basically depriving my body of nutrition, filling it back up, emptying it from a workout. It's been nice to kind of take my foot off the gas a bit before we start marathon prep, but we'll talk about that in a later episode. Yeah, I guess I didn't announce that. Anyways. So, and I'm actually going to be able to coach a friend through an Ironman that's coming up in December, Ironman Florida. A friend / business partner, and he's actually doing the race with one of our other business partners, so it's been kind of cool to give all my gear to him and hopefully make it a little bit smoother of a process for him now, knowing what I know, considering that I entered into this race knowing zero about Ironman. But anyways, just to kind of recap the day, it was down in Panama City, stayed at an awesome condo, woke up that morning, actually had a crick in my neck, believe it or not. I can't remember the last time I had a crick in my neck, and I just could not believe it when I woke up. I knew that I should have brought my own pillow. That would be the first tip that I give you if you're traveling for an Ironman. Bring your own pillow, because you could wake up with a crick in your neck. But honestly, like once the race started and the adrenaline started pumping, I did not feel the neck issue at all. Went out on the balcony, was drinking coffee that morning, and it looked super slick in the ocean. So I was like, heck yeah, this is going to be awesome. These are great conditions. Well, by the time I got down there, that was not the case. The wind had picked up. We actually had some pretty decent seas. I talked to a lot of people who had done the race before, and they all said it was the toughest swim of their life. So I was like, great, you know. I'm glad that I got that out of the way on my one Ironman that I decided to do. But standing in line, waiting for the swim start, I actually met a shark attack survivor, and it was his first race back since the event. So he had taken like 3 years off. He didn't get bit at this event. It was at another one, but it was during an ocean swim. So that really just set the tone for the day and got me super stoked to get in the water. That combined with, because of COVID protocols, we had to do what's called a wave start. So every 5 seconds, 3 people would enter the water. And I was nowhere near the fastest swimmer there, so I was waiting a considerable amount of time, probably I think 17 minutes after the first swimmer went in the water. I went in, but in that short amount of time, I saw like 5 people have to get rescued by the Coast Guard and brought back to shore, so that also played into my mentals a little, but still went with it, jumped in the water, started my swim. It was a lot rougher than I had expected. Swimming in the Gulf, with my schedule, I wasn't able to get down to the beach any during the prep to practice in that. So that took a little getting used to in terms of like breathing and sighting where I'm going at the top of a wave. So that was very interesting. I actually came down the top of a wave into someone's foot, and their toe somehow hooked the nose ring on my goggles and pulled my goggles up over my head. And that was not even probably 5 minutes into what was a 46-minute swim. So started freaking out. My eyes were burning. I swallowed a ton of salt water. I actually had to like doggy paddle to a buoy to regain my composure, and I thought that my goggles were gone. Like I thought, okay, what am I fixing to do? I still have the majority of this 1.2 mile swim to do without my goggles, but luckily they had like stuck to my swim cap. So pulled them back down, got going, set into a rhythm, and honestly, after I calmed back down from that, the swim was a lot easier than I thought it would be mentally. So it was still tough physically. I was still, out of breath and things at certain points, but it was almost like kind of a peaceful swim after that, especially once I rounded. It was a straight out U-turn once I started coming back to the shore, and I had the waves coming at my back. That was definitely a good feeling. But I do remember on my swim at one point, because in the waves, it was really hard to sight myself, to the shore, and the sun was coming up, the sun was rising as I was swimming back to the shore. And so I was pretty much blinded from seeing all the buoys, so I would just kind of look to my side and see the other swimmers, the other competitors, and I would just try to kind of stay in line with them. Well, I kept looking to my right because I felt like there was somebody to my right, but there never was. So I'd spot off my left person to the left, and I'd keep swimming. I'd look over, and I remember during the race thinking, man, like, that's weird. I swear somebody's over there. Because you can just kind of feel when somebody's swimming with you in the water. And after the race, in one of the private Facebook groups, I was let know that there was a shark sighting during the actual swim. A lady freaked out. A whole bunch of people dropped out of the race. They were behind me. So I never saw it during the race, thank God. But yeah, that very well could have been the shark that was beside me. I don't know. That's a lot of speculation, but it makes for good storytelling. So survived the swim, got out, was running to the bike, and honestly I felt a lot more fresh than I thought I would after swimming 46 minutes nonstop. I'd never swam that far in training. I'd swam about 25 or 30 minutes on my longest workouts, and so it was good. It was, I had a very big sense of accomplishment after finishing that swim. Went to go get on the bike, learned a couple tricks in terms of getting a better time, like making sure your socks aren't inside out and drying your feet off completely before trying to put on the socks. I actually, as I was running to get on the bike, I hit a bike rack and it pushed one of my brake calipers into the front wheel where it wasn't spinning, so it had resistance. And so I had to stop, fix that, got going. But anyways, once I got on the bike, that was definitely my strongest of the 3 events. I did exactly what I was expecting time-wise. And that's with some adverse circumstances. So the wind was blowing way harder than I thought. Everybody said it was one of the windiest bike rides they had at that race. So the wind, then they say that the course is, super flat course, which in comparison to other Ironmans, it is. But to me, whenever they said flat, I thought they meant flat like what I'm used to down here, training in Mobile. And that wasn't the case. There were a ton of rolling hills throughout the whole thing, and we had to climb a couple of bridges. So that was a little bit more challenging. I had not been training on any hills, but still kept the time that I wanted to, what the goal was. Got back. One thing that I would change if I was doing it again is I would have taken a bathroom break at the halfway mark. Instead, I was forcing myself to hold it to the point of where it was like hurting my bladder to even pedal, and I ended up having to pull over with like 6 miles left on the bike and pee on the side of the road. So pro tip there, if you feel like you need to pee, because you're drinking liquids constantly, every 5 minutes I was taking a sip of my drink, and with that, we weren't sweating as much as I was consuming, so I was filling up. Stopped, pee break, got back to transition area, started my run. Honestly felt so fresh getting off the bike, a lot fresher than I thought I would. I mean, a 3-hour bike, I thought I would be absolutely exhausted. Wasn't the case. I got stronger as the bike progressed, and really on those last 2 miles, I passed a ton of people that were gasping for air, so that was a great feeling. It made me think like, man, I'm actually doing decent. So get started on the run. Again, everything's going completely to plan. I'm actually having to slow down my pace because I know, hey, this is just excitement and adrenaline. I'm running too fast, so I ran my first mile faster than I wanted to and kind of brought the pace down after that. And everything was good, and it was challenging, don't get me wrong. I was exhausted, but nothing like when I hit mile 9. Everybody had kind of told me, people that had done Ironmans previously, I'd asked them, hey, what are we, what should I expect? And they're like, you will hit a wall. Like, you will hit a brick wall. It's not an if, it's a when. And I'd actually ran a half marathon in prep for this race and felt great the whole 13 miles. So I was thinking like, oh, well, maybe for most people, but the way I've been training, I'm good. And I knew exactly what they meant when I got to mile 9. My legs locked up. I was literally running stiff leg, like heel to toe, because my legs were just cramped, and had to start walking. And that was whenever my time just went, down. It was in the gutter. I was aiming for a 2-hour marathon, half marathon, and I ended up at like 2 hours and 19 minutes. So all that walking really affected me. And every time that I passed an aid station, there were cookies, bananas, Coca-Cola, Red Bull, all these things. And I also have been instructed by a coach not to try any new nutrition on race day. So only eat and drink the things that you trained with the entire prep, because you know that your stomach settles well with those things. So I passed them all up and just really struggled mile 9 through 12. Like, it was rough. It was the most pain I've ever been in my life. Finally on mile 12, I passed an aid station. I said, you know what, man, screw it. I'm going to try some of this Red Bull. And I took a shot of Red Bull, literally in like one of those little disposable cups. It was probably an ounce, maybe an ounce and a half. And I felt it like flowing through my body. Like, it was like it brought my legs back to life. And I ended up running the 13th mile almost as fast as I ran that first mile. And so I can't help but to look back now and go, gosh, what if I would have started drinking Red Bull on mile 6 or whatever, but that's neither here nor there. The main purpose of the entire event was just to complete it, just to show myself what I was physically capable of, and we did accomplish that goal. But if I ever were to go down that path again, I feel like I do have a lot of tips and tricks that I can very easily get below the 6-hour mark, which was the goal. We ended up at 6 hours and 19 minutes, so not too far off the mark, and I feel good about it for a first event. But looking back on the race, I would say my biggest takeaway from it was not physical, but mental. Just in the sense that it was good for me to just do something that I didn't want to do on a daily basis. Like, I enjoyed some of the workouts and I got into it as we were going throughout the prep, but there were like tons of highs and lows and days where I didn't want to do that third workout at 10 p.m. But just doing it was so good for me in the sense of like just exercising that mental muscle of like, hey, I can do hard things consistently. So physical versus mental, definitely way more mental takeaway. Physically though, I will say like my resting heart rate is lower than it's ever been in my athletic career. My endurance throughout workouts is so much better, and honestly just I feel better. Like my body composition feels better. I gained some weight over COVID and kind of slacked off of training, so it was a great opportunity for me to dial back in and get back to who I used to be. And I'd say that I'm probably the fittest I've ever been at this point. But all in all, great opportunity. I'm so grateful for everybody that helped me, along the way, whether it was letting me borrow gear or giving me tips, or even, family coming down to the race and helping me on race day. Like it truly, even though it is a one-man sport, like it definitely takes more than one person to get one done. Do I ever think I'll do it again? Probably not. Right now, I'm saying no, just because of career and family obligations and everything that, is such a huge time commitment. I had to sacrifice a lot of things to get it done. But we will be doing more endurance events in the future. So it might not be an Ironman, but like I said, we're going to run a marathon in January. Then I'm working with some guys on a really long bike ride, actually, that'll be from the United States to another country. But we'll update you later on that. Vlog episode 2, that's a wrap. Nothing really to do the rest of the day except for a few boring meetings and Zoom calls, so we figured we'd spare you. We'll see you next time.